From running the faucets to pulling out every candle in the house, Talia Caravello is doing everything she can to get through this ice storm.
Even sleeping at night, it's still tough, no matter the layers.
So she pushed the blankets aside and drove around until they found this generator available in Spring Hill, spending around $1,500 for it, plus extension cords and space heaters.
It was literally right there with the wires going through.
But Talia says just hours after they got everything ready inside and fired it up, she got an email from their HOA management company, Metropolitan Properties.
Please remove it immediately.
Talia couldn't believe they were threatening to fine her, saying the generator was a fire hazard and doesn't fit their aesthetic.
Super angry because why is that even a possibility right now? Why do they care so much when people are just trying to stay warm and survive?
I've been reaching out to the property management company all day long, and they finally agreed to give Talia a one-time exemption so she can use that generator until the power comes back on. That's a big change from the letter sent to Talia that simply thanked her for helping to keep the Southview on Second Townhomes an attractive and desirable place to live.
It's super weird and upsetting because we need it, and obviously anyone wants to have power. I'd much rather get electricity back than have to use that forever.
Just wanting this winter storm to finally end. In Wedgwood, Houston, Brennan Tierney, WSMV4.
Our lows will get into the negatives, as low as -3 or 4.
Officials in Washington, D.C. warning the brutal winter weather isn't over.
Current forecast is for 10 days. This is going to be one of the top 5 longest running cold streaks on record.
This as Washington is still dealing with the crippling effects of the Arctic blast.
Very cold weather that has turned that snow and ice into solid, almost concrete-like conditions.
D.C. isn't alone, and the severe winter weather doesn't appear to be over. With millions of people in the U.S. already shivering amid the extended cold air outbreak, one of the longest in decades for some, it's likely to get more brutal in the coming days. The eastern half of the country is set to get hit with a new push of bitter air, making temperatures plunge even further Friday through Monday. Upwards of 200 daily cold temperature records could be broken as far south as Florida. Weekend temperatures could drop more than 30 degrees below normal in some areas, especially in the east, and in the south, which is still coping with massive power outages from the last dose of icy weather.
We're trying our best to get all of our three-phase major lines back on. The weather conditions, trees are still falling, limbs are falling.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Remaining snowfall and lingering freezing temperatures are giving regions used to the cold a run for their money. But in swaths of the South, where these conditions are typically rare, emergency crews still remain hard at work, clearing roadways and trying to restore power. In northern Mississippi, responders and tow trucks were busy clearing highways of 18-wheelers and other vehicles which have been stranded for days.
We are less than 100,000 Mississippians without power now, but we still have a long, long way to go.
With residents in several states still in the dark, some are taking shelter in warming centers.
Sleeping in the cold, eating in the cold, going to bed in the cold, and I just got I couldn't take the cold anymore.
Teams on helicopters hovered above power lines to make repairs.
I will tell you that we learn something in every storm.
In Tennessee, Brett Tuck, the owner of Brown's Diner in Nashville, tried making the best of his ongoing outage. With about 1,000 pounds of ground beef and other food about to go bad, Tuck and his team fired up their food truck to provide meals to their community members. Warming hearts in these chilly times.
I'm kind of assuming it might be a few more days at least before we get power back, so we're going to go out here and give away as much food as we can.
Even parts of the Sunshine State are shivering. Zoos have been using heaters to provide extra warmth to species not used to the bite. This as manatees gather in the shallows by a power plant where the waters are warmer.
Manatees cannot survive in water temperatures below about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Power plants, such as the one right here at Manatee Lagoon, help provide that clean, warm water resource that the manatees need.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf coming here from Charlotte, North Carolina. Population about 850,000, but when you bring in the metro area, it is well over 2 million people. 2 million people that'll be dealing with the wind, the snow, possibly 4 to 7 inches of snowfall in and around the greater Charlotte area, and roads may be an absolute mess. I can tell you, though, they've been out there treating the roads, over 80,000 miles of it around the state, managed by the state with a series of brine and salt. But still, even though they've been working really hard, the roads are going to be a huge mess all the way from the Piedmont, high elevation, clear on down to the Outer Banks, and certainly here in the Queen City of Charlotte. Reporting from Charlotte, North Carolina, Reynolds Wolf, the Weather Channel.
Oh, there we go. We're here in our Aldabra tortoise yard, and these guys love the sun. They're solar powered. They come from a place off of the coast of Madagascar in the wild, and there it's very near the equator. So it can easily be in the high 80s, 90s, almost year round. So during the summertime, these guys are very well adapted to the weather here in South Florida. But this time of year, they need a little bit extra care. So what we do is we have a barn that's provided for them, and inside the barn, there are 2 big industrial heaters that heats up that barn to over 95 degrees. And so during the day, we open the door, and if it's a sunny day like today, they like to come out and kind of recharge their batteries in the sunshine. But then at night, when it starts to cool down, they will go ahead and walk themselves right inside. They know where that heat is, and go ahead and spend the night in there.
Manatees cannot survive in water temperatures below about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So as the water temperatures drop, especially after a few days of consistent cold, they have to seek out warm water refuges. And power plants, such as the one right here at Manatee Lagoon, help provide that clean, warm water resource that the manatees need. So in the winter months, as the water temperatures drop, we see hundreds of manatees gather here in our warm water refuge.
Water doesn't change temperature very much. You know, hot water during the summer might be 90 degrees, cold water, especially along the East Coast, might be 70 degrees. So it's only a 20-degree difference, whereas an animal on land has to deal with maybe a 100-degree swing. So it really just has to do with the type of environment that that animal is used to being in. So because manatees are used to being in a more stable environment, then they need to find that warm water refuge during the wintertime.
A frozen lake that turned a bizarre shade of green may be a surreal sight for winter-weary eyes, but scientists say it could point to causes more concerning. Newly released images of Lake Lipno, located in the Czech Republic, were shared online by the Biology Center of the Czech Academy of Sciences, which says the water's crazy color is due to a toxic blue-green algae called cyanobacteria blooms, which typically occur during the summer but usually clear up by autumn. However, the scientists believe weeks of persistent sunshine and calm weather allowed the bacterial biomass to linger to the end of the year. And while the catalyst may be natural, the suspected causes are not so much. Researchers suggest industrial activities, agricultural runoff, municipal waste, and other human-led activities could be driving the algae. If there's a silver lining to the lake's mossy lining, there are very few scientific records of this under-ice phenomenon worldwide, which means Lake Lipno will rank among the best documented cases globally, and that should make other hydrobiologists green with envy. Another body of water had a very strange green sheen on its surface, but this one was very purposeful. Video of a live alligator straight chillin' in some frozen water was shared on Facebook by the Gator Country Adventure Park in Beaumont, Texas. KHOU reports the reptile's stagnant state is called brumation, where it slows its heart rate way down, allowing it to ride out the freezing temps just below the surface. Finally, a van in New York City found itself in an unnatural frozen state after a pipe in the Bronx burst, causing a frigid waterfall that ended up encasing the vehicle in ice. Crews were seen doing their best to dig out and thaw out the giant ice cube on wheels. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Did you know that you can get weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus? Here's how. Go to Fox 54 Plus on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, or Samsung. Once you're on the main screen, push the down arrow and click on the Fox 54 Plus Weather Impact 24/7 block. Here, you'll find radar, current temperatures and conditions, traffic cams, forecasts, and more, all available on demand. Want to get back to the main channel? Just push the down arrow and click on the 24/7 stream button. It's your weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus. Start streaming today.